Most readers would recognize this is Stephen King, and he's known as the King of Horror. And have you ever wondered what kind of does Stephen King read? And for today's author, one of the reviews that Stephen King did, he said, the Gothic novel where even subplots have subplots. And that's the author we are going to go through today. For today's video, we'll be covering author Carlos Ruiz Zafón. He's a Spanish novelist, best known for his unique imaginative novels that intricately weave elements of mystery, romance, and adventure, mainly in Gothic style. It's Gothic mystery. Born on September 25, 1964, in Barcelona, Spain, Zafon's work is deeply influenced by Gothic and mysterious aspects of his hometown, which is the setting for most of his stories, which is Barcelona. Zafón began his career in advertising and quickly transitioned to writing novels and came out with his first novel in 1993. And it was initially intended for young adults, but it gained popularity among readers of all ages. Carlos Ruiz Zafón's narrative style is marked by evocative prose, complex characters, and deep abiding love for the art of storytelling. Just the very few pages of any of his novels, you pick it up and you will be hooked on to read till the end of the novel. His works have been published in more than 40 languages and have sold millions of copies globally, most widely read Spanish authors of modern times. Zafón lived in Los Angeles for many years, where he also worked as a scriptwriter alongside his career as a novelist. He passed away on June 19, 2020, leaving behind a legacy that will continue to inspire and enchant the readers for many, many generations to come. The first novel is Prince of the Mist. The story is set during World War II and follows the Carver family as they move to a small coastal town in an attempt to escape the horrors of war. The family, which consists of Max, his sister Alicia, and their parents, they move into an old house that immediately gives off a sense of mystery and foreboding. Soon after settling in, Max discovers a walled garden adorned with eerie statues, each depicting circus performers and a strange clown at the center. Max quickly learns that the house and its surroundings harbor dark secrets tied to a sinister figure known as the Prince of the Mist. As the Carver children, they kind of explore their new surroundings. They kind of find a friend, Roland, a local boy with a deep connection to the sea. Together, they try to uncover the history of the Prince of the Mist, who is sort of an evil entity who had granted a former resident of the house, a shipwrecked salvager, a series of wishes in exchange for his firstborn son. The deal led to tragic events that now seem to be resurfacing with the Carver family's arrival into this home. The novel weaves together elements of adventure, horror, as the children delve deeper into the mystery. They encounter a sunken ship, which is a relic of the old pact and sort of a focal point of the Prince of the Mist's power. The tension escalates and supernatural occurrences become more frequent, and the children realize that the Prince of Mist has come to collect on his old debts. The Prince of the Mist is sort of a very gripping tale that explores themes of fear, bravery, and the power of the past to shape the present events. Zafón has skillfully created a chilling atmosphere and that captivates the readers, and he makes it really sound like as if you're there in that particular setting. And the making of the novel is sort of a very thrill ride and a very suspenseful read. The story is sort of Zafón's ability to blend historical settings with sort of the fantastical elements. It creates a very compelling narrative that remains engaging, at least for me, from the start to the finish. Novel has a very rich plot and a very rich atmosphere kind of setting, which you can totally dive in and sort of live as you read through the novel. And it's a blend of mystery and the supernatural elements. The Shadow of the Wind novel is the first one in Zafon's renowned Symmetry of Forgotten Book series. It is a blend of mystery, historical references, and Gothic elements. The story begins in 1945 when a young boy named Daniel Sempier is taken by his father to this mysterious library known as the Cemetery of Forgotten Books. This is the very first chapter. It begins when his dad tells Daniel, "You cannot talk about this to anyone." And then the secret that the library itself houses lost titles and its visitors are allowed to choose one book to protect and cherish for their life. So Daniel selects this novel, which is called The Shadow of the Wind by Julian Carax. And captivated by the novel, Daniel sets out to find more works by Carax, but discovers a startling and disturbing fact. Someone has been systematically destroying every copy of Carax's book for years. His quest to understand why leads him into a web of intrigue, betrayal, and murder. So, as Daniel digs deeper, he encounters a diverse set of characters, each with their own dark secrets and connections to Julian Carax. Among these characters are Fermin Romero de Torres, a lovable rogue who becomes Daniel's closest ally, Nuria Montfort, a key figure with deep ties to Carax's past, and Lane Kubert, a mysterious figure who seems to be at the center point of the plot to eradicate Carax's work. The novel sort of elegantly alternates between dark, troubled past of Julian Carax and Daniel's life, which becomes increasingly complicated as he starts to uncover the truth. The intertwining stories explore themes of love, vengeance, redemption, and the destructive power of time. As Daniel unravels the layers of past and present, he learns about the tragic history that has affected so many lives, including his own. Novel is sort of a love letter to literature and a meta-narrative that contemplates the cyclical nature of history and the enduring power of storytelling. Zafon's rich, evocative prose, complex plots create a compelling tale and a master intrigue of a detective novel, thematic depth of historical fiction, and the suspense of a psychological thriller. And Zafon was known to have repeatedly told everyone that his novels will not be adapted into any movies, even though he was a screenwriter in Los Angeles towards the end of his career. But his novels are meant to be read, and they will probably not be adapted into any movies. The Angels Came novel. This is set in the moody backdrop of 1920s Barcelona. The story follows David Martin. He's a young writer struggling to make his mark in the literary world. So Martin works for a newspaper by day and spends his nights writing sensational novels under a pseudonym, hoping to eventually publish serious literature under his own name. His life takes a mysterious and dramatic turn when he receives an extravagant offer from a French publisher. So Andreas Corelli is the name of the publisher and who proposes a lucrative deal to write a book which is unlike anything that has existed before. So sort of intrigued and enticed by the offer itself, David Martin, he accepts. He's young and he accepts the offer, not fully understanding the implications of the pact that he has entered into. So as Martin dives deeper into his writing and his new relationship with Corelli, there is strange and troubling events that begin to sort of unfold. He moves into a mansion with a dark history, which becomes both his sanctuary and sort of his prison as well. The house itself is a character filled with hidden secrets and ghostly presences that blur the line between reality and the nightmare. Martin's life becomes increasingly complicated as he navigates a labyrinth of intrigues involving old friends, new love, shadowy figures, and also his most mysterious benefactor, who may have his own motives. So, the more he writes, the more he begins to see the connections between his own life and the characters in his books, leading him to question the nature of his reality and whether he is merely a pawn in a much, much larger game. So, throughout the novel, Zafon masterfully builds a sense of foreboding and doom, sort of weaving a complex narrative that questions the cost of artistic creation and the blurring of the moral lines that we all follow. The novel is rich with themes of betrayal, redemption, and the corrosive power of secrets. It's a haunting exploration of the power of books and the dark corners of human soul, all set against the Gothic allure of Zafon's beautifully rendered Barcelona setting. It's a deep, compelling read that sort of combines intricate plot, and there is twists, and there is rich characters, and then it intertwines elements of mystery, romance, and the supernatural to explore the dark edges of sort of the literary ambition of the writers and the complexities of human desire. The Prisoner of Heaven novel, it sort of links the narratives of the two previous books. They are all part of the Symmetry of Lost Book series. So it's filling in the historical gaps and deepening the mysteries surrounding the characters. The story is set in Barcelona, again, Zafon's favorite setting, and it is set in Barcelona of 1957, centering on Daniel Sempier, his family, and his close friend Fermin Romero de Torres. So Fermin is now working in the Sempier bookshop and is preparing to marry the love of his life. And the Bernarda is the name of the love of his life. And however, the festive atmosphere is disrupted when a menacing stranger visits the bookshop and purchases a rare and expensive edition of The Count of Monte Cristo. So the stranger leaves this expensive book, Monte Cristo, as a gift for Fermin, inscribing in it like a chilling message that alludes to secrets from Fermin's past, specifically his time in the Montjuic prison. The narrative then delves into Fermin's haunting backstory, recounting his experiences during the early 1940s when he was imprisoned under the Franco's oppressive regime. In prison, Fermin befriends David Martin, the tormented writer from the Angel Scheme. Through their friendship, the novel reveals the linkages between Martin's dark dealings with Andreas Corelli and the stories that envelop the Sempier family. The novel itself explores themes of friendship, betrayal, and redemption. It paints a vivid picture of the mid 20th century Barcelona, which was marked by shadow of dictatorship and the struggle for personal and political freedom. Zafon masterfully connects the individual fates of his characters to the larger historical and the political drama unfolding around them, making the personal stories resonate more with the historical sort of significance. Zafon's narrative is characterized by a signature blend of Gothic mystery and the literary flair, which is lush and evocative. The novel not only offers thrilling revelations but also sets the stage for the series conclusion, which will happen in the next book. He's linking the past narrative threads and setting up the finale revelations to come. So, The Prisoner of Heaven is a pivotal novel that deepens the series mythology and ensures that the readers are irresistibly kind of drawn as to what the final resolution is going to be. And that will happen when we review the next book, The Labyrinth of Spirits. The Labyrinth of Spirits, this is the last one in the Symmetry of Forgotten Book series. This story introduces us to Alicia Gris, a deeply intelligent and enigmatic woman with a dark past who was orphaned by the Spanish Civil War. Alicia is now working for the Spanish secret police in Madrid, but is haunted by her childhood traumas. So she is tasked by her superior, Leandro Montalvo, to investigate the disappearance of Mauricio Valls, who is a high-ranking minister in the Francoist regime and a former dictator of the Montjuic prison. Her investigation leads her back to Barcelona. Again, the setting of the entire series is always Barcelona, and that's Zafon's setting always. The story weaves through the darkest corners of Franco's dictatorship and its impact on the characters. The readers have come to know throughout this series all these characters. So the Alicia deeply kind of now dives into her case. Her path intersects with that of Daniel Sempier and his family, who are still struggling with the legacy of their own painful past. Together, they uncover a series of chilling connections between the government's highest ranks and the devastating history of the Sempier family. The search for truth is fraught with danger, and Alicia has to navigate this whole intrigue and corruption that goes much, much deeper than she thought she had ever imagined. The novel itself is structured around a series of elaborate interlocking plots and subplots, and they crisscross each other. And this is Zafon's signature narrative style, involving suspense, the emotional depth, and a lot of the historic detail, which is depicted very vividly so that the reader can imagine and actually be present in that kind of a setting. The novel pays homage to literature and the power of books, continuing the theme of the series with the symbolic symmetry of forgotten books playing a pivotal role in the unfolding of this drama. So one may wonder, how is it related to Gabriel Marquez, right? Who was a Colombian author, and he also wrote very similar kind of stories, but they are completely different. Zafon is unique, I would say, and Zafon provides both answers and closure to the long-standing mysteries of the series, exploring themes of memory, redemption, revenge, and love. The narrative is both a tribute to the victims of tyranny and a testament to the resilience of the human spirit overall. As a finale, The Labyrinth of the Spirits not only concludes the story arcs of beloved characters, but also clearly showcases Zafon's masterful storytelling, and his works transcend the boundaries of genre and time to speak on the universal themes of humanity.